Previously on Lola Lake's channel.
Take him out! Put him in the street!
I don't want to hear a single chuckle from a bitch still listening to R. Kelly.
Look at what this man said.
I give a fuck where you know, nigga. You think I give a fuck, nigga? Damn.
Every day, this is common sense. Have a crumb of empathy. You're succeeding in the class. You don't know other people are struggling with their times tables.
Let that groupie hoe stargaze from outside.
Fucking leave. Gaslighting is a given. Everyone knows what gaslighting is right now. I'll put up a definition. But someone that's making you feel crazy at the very beginning of your relationship or anywhere between will make you feel mad. You will lose your sanity by the end of it. If he resents you having independence, he resents you having a job that pays more than him, he resents the fact that you have a house, he resents the fact that you've built this life for yourself before you dated him. Oh my gosh, a man that resents the fact that you've had experiences before him, as in he's taken you to this restaurant, you've been to this restaurant before. He's in a bad mood because you've been to this restaurant before. He's thinking he's introducing you to another vibe, but this is a vibe you've already been maintaining for yourself. I don't know if it was a Shits and Gigs podcast, but there was a podcast with men that said whenever they see a woman that's traveled to too many places on her Instagram highlights, they don't DM her because she's already experienced it all. If someone, especially your partner, hates the fact that you lived such a free, independent life, living happily, doing the things that you want to do in the years leading up to your relationship, that's someone that's going to hate you. That's someone that's going to be jealous of you, because to them, it's like, I'm supposed to be the leader. Why have you done more than me? Personally, I think someone like that can kill. And if they get you pregnant, it's not a thing of, oh my days, it's because I've always wanted to be a dad. It's to slow you down. Similar to what Offset said about Cardi B, you're my baby mom, I won.
Now, I know good and goddamn well Offset did not just weaponize the fact that he got his wife pregnant. He called his wife, his ex-wife, a baby mama as an insult. Wow. When I was about 20, 21 years old, I had a boyfriend that, listen, let's just say we were not equals, but he was my man and I loved him. So I ended up pregnant. Of course, eventually something's going to happen. So he told me that he got me pregnant on purpose. He told me straight up that he got me pregnant on purpose, knowing he was not doing right by me, but he wanted me pregnant. Now, I currently do not have children. You put the story together yourself. But I'm just saying, don't get pregnant.
Some of these men see getting you pregnant as a way of destroying everything you've worked for. Because for a majority of women, once you have a kid, your life slows down. You're less likely to go on these trips. You're less like, because you're budgeting to now take care of this expensive baby. You're less likely to move to another country. You're less likely to take career risks and try something new because now you're financially responsible for someone. They see it as a hindrance rather than a blessing. If a man tries to sabotage your growth, that man also hates you. That one I don't think I need to explain.
TikTok this video. Most of the responses criticised the man there for interrupting her. That's the Daily Mail. Husband labelled toxic for bombarding wife with their children moments before she crosses the half marathon finish line. The New York Post said entitled dad blasted for sending kids to hug mum just before she reaches the marathon finish line. Quote, I'd have a divorce lawyer on the phone.
You're trying to do better for yourself, you're trying to achieve your goals, and they're trying to fuck up the progress that you've made. I'm not saying you should assume your man hates you, so you should keep your goals to yourself, but if you even have an inkling that someone might not be supportive to your goals, or someone's gonna have like shed darkness on the light that you think you have for yourself, don't tell other people, just do it, and then they can see the results. Because that's happened to me, where I've told a friend, oh yeah, like I think I'm gonna start posting on YouTube more like I'm gonna really try it. Like I feel like I have the motivation. They were like, don't waste your time with YouTube. Like what always, like just keep doing TikTok. In my mind I'm thinking, oh, maybe they have a point. That was terrible fucking advice. Why am I listening to advice from someone that has a fearful mindset? You should never let someone else's fears affect your dreams. Because honestly, if I had never done TikTok and I said, oh, I want to start doing TikTok, they'd be like, nah, don't do that. Like, that's a waste of time. It's only because I've done TikTok secretly and now it's gotten on all these people that I know's For You page. And now it's, oh yeah, like you should keep on doing TikTok. But if I had asked, it would have been a different situation. It would have been like, nah, like don't do that. Like, oh, like what the hell? I was able to get so far on TikTok because I did it in private. Like I did it in private first before anyone knew about what I was doing. So I definitely recommend doing it that way because it's easier. Because if you make mistakes while you're trying, you're less likely to be discouraged because you know no one you know is watching. You're allowed to make mistakes in private and know that no one's judging you. You don't have that anxiety in your head that's causing you to overthink. So I definitely recommend. But obviously, if you have a really supportive partner, do tell them. Obviously, you don't have to tell everyone everything. So I'm saying you have two options. ChatGPT said, if a man creates drama around your happiness, that man hates you. If that man fucks up your birthday, if he tries to be emotional when you're celebrating your achievements, that man hates you because he needs to be the center of attention. Oh my gosh, you're telling me someone can't swallow their pride for a night just for you? Bin him. My assistant said that man hates you if he's giving you inconsistent affection. Says hot and cold behavior, showing you love one day, ignoring you the next to keep you emotionally off balance. That is clear manipulation. It's hard to figure out when you're in it, but if you're out of it, you'll understand that was not normal what they were doing to you. So if you can figure out, oh, this is what's happening in this moment, you should leave, because that's clear manipulation, and that will really fuck with your head and your headspace, and then you become dependent on them. Giving someone validation, then taking it away, then giving them validation, taking it away. They're treating you like a dog. Like, treat, no treat, treat, no treat. ChatGPT said your man hates you if he always plays the victim. He twists every disagreement into him being the one wronged, even if the issue is clearly his fault. I saw this with that girl from Pitch Perfect. If you watch her Call Me Daddy interview.
How long did that abusive relationship that you endured last?
It didn't follow the traditional pattern, which is kind of yet another reason why I was finding it really difficult to identify it and name it as abusive.
Okay.
Because I was like reading all the articles and going like, this doesn't look like some of it looks like how they're describing it, but not completely. So the relationship was 7 years. It was like an overnight switch. It came out of absolutely nowhere, but was built on this foundation of I had so much love and trust for that person. So I thought it had to be me. Like if one of us is crazy, it must be me. There are even times when I talk about my situation where as I'm saying it, I will go, am I making that up? Am I making everything up? I remember having a conversation with my therapist like a year after that relationship. She was talking about my ex and she started to say something where she was like, well, you know, when you're dealing with a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I went, no, what if I'm the wolf? Like, what if it was me? Because I think that was the thing that I didn't expect, was how totally convinced he was of his own victimhood. And I thought like, well, if he's being manipulative, I'll know it because, you know, I'll smell the bullshit. Like I'll smell that this is kind of a performance that he's putting on. But I don't think he was putting on a performance. I think he genuinely believed that I was like torturing him. He told me one day I was terrorizing him because I was just crying because I couldn't pretend that things were fine anymore. And I just started crying and he screamed in my face, you're terrorizing me.
And you're yelling in her face and acting like you're the victim. And it's a thing of, you need to understand, people that play the victim, they genuinely think they're the victim sometimes. Most of the time, they know they're manipulating you. But if you allow them to go on for so long playing the victim, they will eventually believe that, yeah, because you're validating their victimhood, they're not a victim. But it's not your fault that you're validating their victimhood because it's manipulation. It's very hard to realize you're being manipulated if the technique they're using, you've never seen it happen to anyone else. Because honestly, I've never seen that happen, playing the victim. I've never seen someone like constantly always play the victim. I've never seen that. So when she spoke about it, I was like, wow, that sounds like hell. If you didn't know about gaslighting, you wouldn't know you're being gaslit. That man hates you if he's disregarding your boundaries. If you said this makes you feel uncomfortable, or I don't like it when you do this, and they continue to do it. I remember I saw a story where...
Am I the asshole for filing for divorce because my husband over-tightens all the jar lids? His over-tightening jar lids has been an issue since we were just visiting at my house when we were dating. First, it started with things that he used, and then over time, it became every damn glass jar with a metal lid. He tightened them so much that I couldn't open them without assistance. It wasn't a huge deal if he was there, but if I was alone, it was so annoying. More times than I can count, I've opened a new jar of something because I couldn't get the jar open. It's been a reoccurring cycle for over the past 5 years. It's just a thing that would escalate until I had a major meltdown and freaked out, screaming, frustrated, and seemingly crazy because it's just a lid. Then it would get better for a while, and then it would slowly become an issue again. Just getting worse and worse until I reach a breaking point again. Sometimes I'd literally feel insane for being upset over jar lids. He initially claimed that he did it to keep food fresh. After many arguments about it and my insistence that I don't believe it keeps anything fresh, even if it does make things last longer, I don't care if it means I can't eat my freaking food when I want. I'll just replace things that go bad because they're closed normally. Then the excuse was that it's a habit. So about a month ago, my husband had a family emergency and had to travel out of state for 10 days. First day he's gone, I discover a jar that I can't open. I was annoyed and was going to the store to buy new pickles when the neighbor said hi and to let him know if I needed anything. While soon-to-be ex is out of town, I said here and got the jar, which he opened. The next day I saw him outside and asked him to open another jar. He offered to come in to open all the jars, and I agreed, and he came in, he went to the fridge and opened all of the jars except for 2, which he even couldn't open. I thanked him profusely and told him I'd bake him some of his favorite cookies later in the week. He laughed and said it's no big deal, and after confirming that I wouldn't be upset if the remaining 2 jars were destroyed in his attempt to open them, he took them home to his garage to open them one way or another. He said that he heard me screaming about over-tightened jar lids a few times over the years, and he's really pondered if I was crazy or if my husband was really over-tightening the jar lids. He said, you know this was intentional. It was every jar, and I'm sure he doesn't regularly use hot pepper paste or mango puree or any of your other fancy cooking stuff. Then he held up 2 jars he couldn't open and said, I don't know why he's doing it, but it wasn't an accident. And he left. I locked the door, and I sat on my kitchen floor and cried. Then I felt hot and lightheaded. I vomited in the trash can. My chest hurt. It crossed my mind that I might be having a heart attack. I thought about calling an ambulance, but I sat back down on the kitchen floor and instead okay with just dying if it was a heart attack.
So yeah, she got a divorce. But if your man does any of these things, obviously you don't have his kid. You may not be strong enough to leave the relationship right now, but you are strong enough to take the steps to avoid getting stuck in it. You are strong enough to secretly start taking the pill. So I do recommend you researching your options, because if any of this reminds you of the situation that you're in, I promise you having a baby won't make it any better. But anyways, thanks for watching. Lola believes in you.
Make the noise, what the fuck?
Go nuts.